Yeniden merhaba. Kahve molası sonrası 2021 Müşteri Deneyimi Trendleri konulu sunum yapacak olan konuşmacımız Zendesk kıdemli satış lideri Alina Gles'i davet edeceğim. Now we have a foreign speaker. This presentation will be English. Mr. Alina Gliss will be speech now. I invite her.
Hi, thank you for having me. Let me share my presentation with you. Thank you for joining me today for the CX Trends Report 2021. I'm really happy to be here at one of my favorite countries in the world. My best friend is Turkish and I spend a lot of time in your beautiful country. I hope I get to do that again soon. My name is Alina Gleis, like mentioned, and I'm one of the sales leaders here at the emerging markets for Zendesk. As we all know, 2020 was a wild ride for everyone.
Mrs. Alina,
Yes?
Mrs. Alina, sorry,
Yes?
your page is not seen.
You can't see my screen?
No.
Apologies to everyone. Apologies is stating that I have to give access. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's try that again, shall we? Apologies for that. Did you hear me before? Were you able to hear me? I'll take that as a no. So again, thank you very much for having me today in this beautiful country of yours for the CX Trends from Zendesk for 2021. My name is Alina Gleis. I'm one of the sales leaders for the emerging markets here at Zendesk. And today I want to show you some findings and hopefully they're helpful for you and for your customer service structures. As we all know, 2020 was quite a wild ride for everyone. And the world of Turkish customer service experience is no exception. With everyone stuck at home, customers went online. Support agents went remote almost overnight, and companies scrambled just to hang on. But you already know that. It's safe to say we're not going back to the way it was. We're moving forward. Now, your company's success depends on the quality of your customer experience or the customer experience that you deliver as a company. Investing in CX is an opportunity to grow. And I'm going to share some findings with you that support our statement. So 57% of customers will spend more money with you or with a company that gives them or offers a good customer experience. However, last year showed that it hasn't made customers more patient at all. On the contrary, they will leave you or move off to one of your competitors after just one bad customer experience. And that's quite shocking. Don't get too worried though. 2021 is all about learning from last year and adapting to the new realities and setting your teams up for success. We're going to guide you through this year's top trends, and we'll show practical ways to shift and prepare you for whatever comes next. Now, let's dive into these trends. If you didn't already know, Zendesk released an annual customer experience trends report, which I will share with you later in detail. However, we look at data from more than 90,000 customers across 175 countries who use Zendesk. We also looked at what separates companies that are doing really well in their customer service and are excelling versus everyone else. And we identified 5 major trends across the world. And I'd like to share these with you today. These are the 5 trends that I'm going to go through today, bit by bit. The first trend we saw emerge was the growing importance of CX. With more people at home, more customers shop online than ever before. The expectations, as we mentioned earlier, are also higher. Just looking at companies that use Zendesk, ticket volume is at an all-time high. I'm sure if you have a customer service offering and you have customer service agents, you will have noticed a really high increase in the last couple of months to year and a half. Especially, however, for digital sectors. Overall, support interactions were up about 18% in 2020 compared to the previous years across all industries, but the digital sectors were up in between 30 and 50%, which is a high increase. These fast-growing sectors set the tone and gold standard for customer interactions and shaped customer expectations in the CX world. We have also noticed that high-performing companies are more likely to adopt an omni-channel support method. So there was a shift in the last year and a half or year where companies that are being successful have offered multiple ways to contact and interact with them. Here I want to highlight some of the top Turkish brands that we count as our trusted customers. As you can see, Zendesk works with companies of all sizes in every industry. We've helped over 150,000 organizations in more than 170 countries across hundreds of industries build better customer experience. And we've cultivated a global community of customer experience innovators who share best practices and learn from each other. I'm going to deep dive in a couple of the Turkish companies that you can see before you. But like I've just stated, the industry depth is humongous. Next, with companies prioritizing great CX, we saw more conversational world emerge. Since we stopped being able to meet in person, messaging apps and digital conversations became the #1 way to communicate. And 56% of customers used new ways to engage with companies. As priorities shifted towards providing really high level customer experience, the question of how to provide that experience became one of the top conversations had at C-level. The option to meet in person went away, and it was impossible to communicate in the ways we were used to. So it gave a boost to a variety of messaging services and chats as the primary support channel. Now I want to speak to you about Getir, who I'm sure you know, and I'm sure you've used a lot recently. I know I have used the equivalent. So Getir needed to open up its communication channels when the changes occurred in our worlds. And they needed to include chat, reducing the reliance on telephone and email support. In Zendesk, Getir found a partner that could deliver real-time user interaction, so its food deliveries could get to the places they needed to be with the full transparency to the end users. And they saw a huge advantage of that. If you want to know more about the Getir use case, you can find it on our website. It's public. There is all the details on how they implemented, timelines, and all of these things. I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot. We also saw a huge emphasis on agility. As companies had to quickly change everything and pivot to provide a service in a world that was suddenly digital first. 2020 was nothing if not a year of adapting or adaptation and agility to keep up with the changing customer needs and make sure internal changes and internal teams could be successful and could continue working, even if they were remotely. In fact, our research shows that more than anything else, being able to make changes and adapt really quickly and easily is the top priority of customer service teams heading into the new year. Our survey also shows that more than 45% of CX leaders use multiple channels now to engage with their clients. The fourth trend is that companies around the world have to rethink on how they work across teams. I'm sure you've experienced that yourselves, because the previous ways of working is completely disrupted. And we all had to try new things to keep our teams healthy and our customers happy. During this time, the vast majority of teams navigated new tools and new processes. We have also seen the investment by companies in internal help desk solutions to be forecasted to double post-COVID in between 2021 and 2022. Finally, there was a digital tipping point in the world of CX. Adoption timelines have sped up really fast. Companies that weren't investing before have had no choice and are changing their minds to plan and ramp up technology investments. Many of those that we've spoken to or that we surveyed said that COVID-19 has sped up the digital adoption, and they're planning their 2021 and 2022 budgets to reflect that. Companies who don't focus on adding digital technologies to keep up with their customers or to ensure that their internal processes and their internal teams are kept happy fall behind. And those that do make the changes and the moves early on, they differentiate themselves from their competitors. Top priorities are adding omni-channel service, better IT security, and tools to improve employee experience. So this is quite interesting, and I had a little laugh about this because this affected my team also. So 2020 was the largest work from home experiment ever conducted. From the tools we need to stay productive to how we collaborate, share, encourage across remote teams has been a challenge. But companies across the world headed back to the drawing board to find ways that would be good, not just for the business itself, but for their employees. Workplaces have undergone rapid changes, and while supportive work environment remain crucially important, focus on collaboration and quality of tools and software grew by 30% that year. Zendesk is helping Turkish retail brands to digitalize their store experience, because the same way that in our sector, people had to change the way they work and change to remote teams, I'm sure that the same applies to you. The same applies to these Turkish companies. Brands here are enabling all their customers, so we're talking about Bayman, Decathlon, Nike, etc. They're enabling all of their customers to reach out to their salespeople from the stores via chat, WhatsApp, or video chat, and all in one place, by using Zendesk mobile apps to answer or ask queries, to make purchases. All of these are possibilities through the Zendesk mobile apps. So I hope the 5 trends were interesting for you, and I hope that we have given you a little bit of insight on how the 2021 CX trends are changing, how the world is changing, and how the way we give customer support changes also. If you want to go deep into the report of the 5 CX trends that I've shown you today, you can do so online. Everything is public and available to you. I hope you have a great Ramadan if you are celebrating it. And teşekkürler.